Hello, welcome back. Welcome back to those escrow basics. Now, I had some people ask me, Juliana, why are you doing all these basic escrow videos? Well, surprisingly, we have some people who don't really understand escrow, and I would like to help them understand. So that's why I'm going back to those basics so that when you go into escrow, you know what you are getting yourself into. Now, last time that I did the video, I had very bad lighting. So this time I'm putting some better lighting in. So it's a learning experience for me. And hopefully, you all, as my audience, will learn with me also. Now, I am going to be talking today about what escrow needs. What do you need when you go into an escrow? And I'm going to use a purchase and sale of real estate transaction as an example. First thing we need, if you have it, is a written contract because a written contract will put down all the conditions that you want for that transaction. If you do not have a purchase contract, then if you have a verbal agreement with the other party, that's fine too. Give that to us, and what we will do is we will craft our escrow instructions, and they will become the contract between the parties. What are the basic things that we need? You would be surprised at what we actually don't get. So I'm listing them right now. First of all, property address. I have had clients who come in and couldn't give me the right property address. What city is it in? Is it in the county? These are things that we would like to know in advance. We also want to know what the sales price is, of course, and if you're going to get a loan, how much that loan amount is going to be. Knowing all this in advance will give us an idea at how much the cost to you will be because you're going to probably need to get those costs from your lender and they will ask us for it. We will also need to know if you're going to deposit a good faith deposit in escrow. And if that's the case, then we have to know how much that good faith deposit is going to be. What is the final acceptance date? Or what is the escrow opening date? That's the day that we're going to use to calculate everything else, including the final closing date and all the timeframes that are going to go with this transaction. What are some of the other basics? Do you have a real estate agent? If you do, please give us their name and their contact information, including their email address. We need to keep them posted from day one. We also need to know what the commission amount is. So if you're the real estate agent, don't forget to give me the commission you think that you're going to be getting, because that's pretty important for you, you know? Title insurance. Not everybody, if you are a consumer, would know about which title company you want to use. A real estate agent might have an idea. That's good. Let us know. If you don't know, we will go ahead and choose one for you. And it's usually going to be one with a good service and the cost is reasonable. What do we need from the seller? Well, besides the name, we're going to need the phone number. We're going to need the address, the email address. A lot of escrow companies now will call the seller and the buyer to confirm these. We want to be sure that this seller knows that his property is being sold through us right now. Do you have a homeowners association on the property? Let us know. You know, in Orange County, some of those properties have two or sometimes three homeowners association. So we would need to know the name and the contact information for every single one. Is there an existing loan to pay off? Are there more than one loans? This information will be needed. We want to have their name, their loan number, And we will need to have the last 4 digits of your social security number because that's how we order the payoff statement when the time comes. What do we need from the buyer? Well, I mentioned before the good faith deposit, and we do prefer it by wire transfer in, just to save everybody time. We also need the buyer's full name per the driver's license. Now, why is that important? When you give us the name and we open the escrow this way, if we don't change it, this is exactly how it's going to show on the ownership deed as well as all on your loan documents. So we want to follow your correct name. And sometimes on the contract, it doesn't have your full name. So that's why we say, give us your driver's license so we can follow your driver's license. So besides the name, we also want your phone number. We want your address. We want your email address because remember that good faith deposit that we want from you? We're going to ask you for it directly through a wire. We want to be sure that we do not get the wire fraud or the email hacked for the wire fraud. Title investing. Now, this is a little bit more complicated. I'm going to cover that in another video, but we will need you to think about the title investing because it is going to be important for you in your ownership of the property. Are you getting a new loan? Do you know the loan number? Well, first of all, do you know your loan broker's name, phone number, and email address? Please be sure you provide that to us at the beginning of escrow. What are some of the standard agreements that could be put into a transaction? Now, I'm not saying that all of your transactions will be this way, but here are some of the standards. First of all, physical inspection by the buyer. Physical inspection usually is coordinated with an inspection company. Buyer and property to be able to qualify for the loan. This is a condition of the transaction, is it? By the way, timeframes for both the physical and the buyer and property qualification for the loan should be thought about and stated because we want to know if there's a time frame for these things to happen, then we know how to program and calendar our whole transaction. Termite report. Corrective work for the termite report. Think about that. Do you want that to be put into the transaction? What about a home protection policy? A home warranty policy is usually purchased by the seller and it is a benefit to the buyer. What about a city residential pre-sale report? Now, this is an inspection report that is required in some of the cities. Not all, but some of the cities, some of the important cities. For instance, Los Angeles, San Marino, Pasadena. These places, these cities require an inspector to go out and look at the property and make sure that everything is hunky-dory. So you're going to need to know and you're going to need to put that into the escrow paperwork. Finally, possession of the property. Why is this important? The possession could be on the day that we close, you're going to hand over the keys, or the possession could be 3 days, maybe 7 days after the closing. It really depends on how it's negotiated between the buyer and the seller. And it should be negotiated at the beginning because, the seller needs to be sure he has time to get out of the property after the closing. Okay, when I did my last video, I wore a T-shirt and I pointed it out in my video. And somebody came up to me and said, Juliana, I really could not see your T-shirt. So I said, okay, let me show you what my T-shirt was so that you have an idea. It is I fight fraud every day. I am an escrow officer. So what is your superpower? That was my T-shirt from the last time. And today, if you want to take a look, this is my T-shirt. It is a Wonder Woman T-shirt because all of us escrow officers, we're all Wonder Women or Wonder Men, and we leap tall buildings in one leap, and we do all these wonderful things for our clients. So we are Wonder Women. Thank you very much for watching. Please be sure that you check up on other videos that I may have, or look us up, juliana2.com. Thank you and have a blessed day.